You know what's worse than a haunted house? Your body. Yeah, that creaking sound you heard last night. That wasn't a ghost. That was your shoulder joint trying to evacuate the premises. Let's cut the crap. We walk around like meat maracas, and no one told us this was part of adulthood. You don't even have to be old. You just need to have lived long enough to bend down to tie your shoe and suddenly hear a noise like a haunted rocking chair committing tax fraud. And before you say it's just aging, let me ask, since when does aging sound like a bone xylophone covered in bubble wrap? Welcome to the horror movie that is your skeletal system. Rated R for ribcage. Why are you clicking? Let's unravel the bizarre. Sometimes demonic reasons, your body now doubles as the sound effects department for a low-budget horror flick. The symphony of cracks, pops, and creaks. Every time you stand up, your body plays a soundtrack only dogs and chiropractors can truly appreciate. It starts with a knee pop, followed by a hip creak, maybe a bonus ankle crunch just for flavor. Congratulations, you're officially an orchestra of orthopedic regret. But here's the kicker, those sounds, totally normal. Apparently it's just gas. Not the oops I had Taco Bell kind, but nitrogen bubbles in your joints collapsing. That's right, your knees are basically soda cans slowly depressurizing. Sometimes it's tendons snapping over bones. Other times it's your body trying to communicate in Morse code. HELP. SEDENTAARY. LIFESTYLE. And still, we just walk it off. Like, oh yeah, my spine sounds like a microwave about to explode, but it's probably fine. Newsflash, if your joints were a movie trailer, the tagline would be, this summer, every movement is a jump scare. When your knees turn into a crowdfunding campaign, ever squat down and hear your knees do a group chat of betrayal? Like, all right, fellas, she's going for it. Activate crackle mode. It's not just you. Modern knees are overworked interns in the corporate office that is your body. They clock in at 9 a.m., immediately regret it, and pray for an early retirement every time you take the stairs. And yet, you keep pushing them, running, squatting, or doing that TikTok dance that ruined 3 meniscus in one go. Cartilage, the soft buffer between bones, wears down like your will to live after reading a comment section. Once it thins out, bones start playing bumper cars. Add some inflammation, and voila! Instant Rice Krispies knees. Snap, crackle, ow. Honestly, if your knees had a GoFundMe, they'd be titled, Help Me Escape This CrossFit Hell. And the worst part? You stretch, you hydrate, you even bought fancy turmeric gummies. And your knees? Still sound like 2 raccoons fist fighting inside a metal dumpster. At this point, it's less about health and more about survival. Like, I just need these joints to make it through the wedding dance. Then they can collapse in peace. Spine snaps and neck pops, the human maracas. So you turn your head to look at your phone. Crack. That wasn't the ghost of bad posture past. That was your neck staging a coup. The spine is supposed to be a marvel of evolution, but your spine, it's basically a tower of Jenga blocks covered in meat, held together by the hope that you don't sneeze while tying your shoes. Every time you crack your neck, you're basically playing Russian roulette with spinal satisfaction. Sometimes it relieves pressure. Sometimes it just makes you dizzy and question all your life decisions. And don't even get me started on back cracks. You twist a little, maybe try that weird move you saw on Instagram that definitely wasn't approved by any medical board. And suddenly, you sound like a tree in a thunderstorm. People say cracking your back is safe if done properly. Great. Because we all have tiny licensed chiropractors living in our living rooms, right? Honestly, your vertebrae don't need therapy. They need a priest. Your lumbar spine is probably 2 demonic whispers away from opening a portal. Moral of the story? If you sound like a walking percussion section, congratulations. You're alive, you're dramatic, and your spine might be haunted. Gas, joints, and demons. Guess who's making that sound? Spoiler, it's all of them. Your joints? Full of nitrogen bubbles. Your posture? Cursed by 12 hours of desk work and a gaming chair designed by Satan's chiropractor. And the demon? That's just Greg, your sacrum, who's been angry since you tried Pilates that one time. The gas in your joints creates pressure that builds up over time. When you move just right, pop, it releases. That's the science. But let's be honest, it feels like you summon something from the shadow realm every time your wrist makes that tiny click. Add inflammation, dehydration, and bad sleep, and boom, you're suddenly a 1-person haunted soundboard. Everything you do sounds like you're trying to contact spirits using only your pelvis. The most cursed part, the more you worry about the sound, the more you notice it. And the more you notice it, the more your brain starts imagining ancient curses every time your ankle twitches. So next time you hear that unholy pop echo through your joints, just whisper back, "Not today, Greg." Then chug some water and sit like a goblin until further notice. The curse of modern posture. Let's talk about posture, or, more accurately, the slow descent into skeletal chaos you call working from home. Remember when your parents told you not to slouch? Turns out they were right, just not for the reasons you thought. Slouching doesn't just make you look like a villain in a Disney movie, it also compresses your organs, tightens your chest, and gives your spine the shape of a sad pretzel. Most of us sit like we're trying to merge with the furniture. Shoulders forward, spine curved, neck craned like we're searching for Wi-Fi in the ceiling. And the sounds that come from that? Not cute. Your back sounds like it's trying to escape. Your neck clicks like it's submitting a resignation letter. And your hips? They're plotting to unhinge themselves during your next bathroom break. We weren't built for this. Humans were meant to run, jump, and occasionally fight a mammoth. Not sit in a $30 office chair for 10 hours trying to pretend that spreadsheet errors aren't personal attacks. Modern posture is a curse, one you summoned yourself with every "I'll just work from bed today." The hidden horrors of sleeping wrong. You'd think sleep, the one time you're not moving, would be safe. Oh no. Sleep is just another haunted hallway in your body's personal horror mansion. One bad pillow, and you wake up with a neck that feels like you challenged an invisible ninja to a duel. Sleep on your stomach? Congrats. Your spine just rage quit your entire skeleton. Even the correct sleep positions are a lie. Side sleepers twist their hips like they're prepping for a UFC match. Back sleepers? If you don't have the exact right pillow, enjoy breathing like Darth Vader with a sinus infection. And let's not forget the shoulder situation. Ever woken up with your arm completely dead, flopping around like a wet baguette? That's because your own body decided to cut off circulation in the name of comfort. Treasonous. Honestly, sleep isn't restful. It's a full-body sabotage mission disguised as self-care. You go in for 8 hours of healing, come out sounding like you fell down a spiral staircase made of bubble wrap and betrayal. Your body's death metal solo during yoga. Yoga was supposed to bring inner peace, right? Calm breaths, soft stretches, gentle vibes. Yeah, no. You roll out the mat, get into child's pose, and your back immediately screams like it's auditioning for a horror podcast. One deep breath later, and your hip does a pop that sounds like it just fired off a warning shot. Warrior pose? More like war crime against my spine. Every position becomes a new sound experiment. Cobra pose unleashes shoulder demons. Downward dog sounds like someone opening an old crypt. And pigeon pose? That's when your hip decides to cry uncle. At this point, your yoga session isn't a wellness ritual. It's a death metal concert performed by your ligaments. But hey, at least it's mindful. You're now acutely aware that your joints are holding decades of unresolved tension and possibly a few ancestral curses. You don't need incense. You need an exorcism. Why you're basically a living Ouija board. Ever try to sneak out of bed quietly, only for your entire body to start communicating with the undead? That's because you're not a person anymore. You're a haunted floorboard in human form. Every joint snap is a syllable. Every spine pop is a full sentence. Together, your movements spell out ancient messages like, "I miss the 90s," and "Please stop cracking your knuckles." You thought you were doing yoga, but you accidentally summoned a ghost with your shoulder blades. Honestly, your skeleton is more active than most group chats. It's got feedback, commentary, and unsolicited sound effects for everything you do. It's not possessed. It's just dramatic. The real horror? You've normalized it. You hear a sound that could legit be part of a horror movie, shrug, and go, "Hey, must have been my ankle demon again." You're not haunted. You're just very, very human. And falling apart one dramatic sound at a time. So, what have we learned today? Your body is less Temple of Health and more Victorian house with unresolved trauma. It creaks, cracks, snaps, and occasionally whispers threats through your cartilage. You're not broken. You're just built like every horror movie setting ever. And that's fine. We all are. We're just doing our best with haunted meat suits that sound like a popcorn machine at a seance. So hydrate, stretch, sacrifice a pillow to the spine gods, and maybe, just maybe, stop sitting like a cursed shrimp. Hit that subscribe button for more unsettling truths about your own existence, or don't. But if your hip howls in the night, don't say I didn't warn you.